From the most unguardable shot in NBA history to the most controversial shot in history, these are the most unstoppable moves in NBA history. The skyhook. Unlike other moves on the list, the skyhook was mastered by only one player, and that was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem in the early seasons of his career with the Milwaukee Bucks was a different beast, as over 467 games with the franchise, he averaged 30.4 points, 15.3 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 3.4 blocks on 54.5% from the field. Kareem would earn the majority of his points using this unstoppable move, as it was dubbed the skyhook by Bucks play-by-play announcer Eddie Doucette. Kareem would back down his opponent while everyone knew what was coming. No one had any idea how to stop it. Kareem leaned on this move more and more as he got older, with the Showtime Lakers in the 1980s, as the captain was always able to get a good shot off. The fadeaway. The fadeaway shot is exactly what it sounds like. When the user takes a jump shot, they fade backwards to create space. However, it is not as easy as it sounds. Falling away makes the shot much harder to hit, as you need to shoot it with more force than a regular jump shot. But when perfected, you are going to be hard to stop. The most notable users of the fadeaway jump shot were Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dirk Nowitzki, who used a more post-orientated version of the move, while the Mamba and Jordan would use it in the mid-range. However, the first player to use the fadeaway shot in an NBA game was the late great Wilt Chamberlain from the 1960s, who would use it in a similar fashion as Dirk Nowitzki. The Big Dipper is often thought of as just a running and dunking style, but that couldn't be further from the truth, as Wilt would score most of his points using these mid-range fadeaway shots. Kobe and Jordan, however, were the ones who made the move a staple that every modern scorer uses today. The step back. The most controversial move in the history of the NBA. The step back, mainly James Harden's rendition of the move, which upon first glance looks like a clear travel, but under further examination is cleared to be a legal move, as the NBA states that his first step is a gather step, meaning James Harden has not yet touched the ball and therefore it is legal. Other lethal perimeter shooters like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard also use the move, but even they can't get away with Harden's version. While being the greatest shooter in NBA history, Curry's handles are often underrated, as if Steph isn't running around like a madman, he's using a step back move. A step back similar to a fadeaway creates distance from the defender, but the bonus that a step back provides is that you can get further away than you can with a fadeaway, and you shoot the ball in a normal fashion. As the NBA has evolved, nearly every player in the league now has these moves. Even big centers like Brook Lopez has a step back move in his bag. But to this day, nobody can get away with the way that James Harden does his step backs. The Euro step. The Euro step, as the name suggests, came from Europe and is another move in James Harden's bag. Most notably used by Manu Ginobili, who mastered the move, while Giannis Antetokounmpo is dominating the NBA using the move in the current day. Giannis is arguably the best user of the move in NBA history, as his size and length make the move even more deadly. Giannis covers a ridiculous amount of ground when he uses the move, making for some crazy highlight plays. Russell Westbrook is another fantastic Euro step user, as Russ has a lightning quick first step and is so explosive when it comes to attacking the rim, and this move tends to give Russell Westbrook the open look or the option to distribute the basketball, as it is truly one of the hardest moves in NBA history to stop. The Dream Shake. Hakeem Olajuwon has the best footwork of any big man in NBA history, and you could even begin to argue of any player in NBA history. Olajuwon dominated the NBA using the move in the 1980s and 90s against other all-time great centers such as Patrick Ewing, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, David Robinson, and Moses Malone. The move consisted of a pump fake and a spin, which absolutely embarrassed opposing big man defenders across that era. Most notably David Robinson, who would win the MVP in 1994, but later be torn apart by Hakeem's Dream Shake in the West Finals, as Hakeem would go to win back-to-back titles in 1994 and 95 thanks to his two-way dominance and the Dream Shake. The bank shot. Tim Duncan received his nickname the Big Fundamental because of the way he played the game. Duncan wasn't flashy, but he was super consistent, and he would use the backboard to get a better angle on the basket. The bank shot wasn't a highly used move, as it appears to be boring, but Duncan proved that the move is super effective. Tim figured that if he looked slightly over towards the back of the board, he can achieve a less contested shot. The shot would never make any highlights, but it helped San Antonio to become one of the most successful sports franchises in the history of pro sports, as the Spurs, led by Duncan, would win 5 championships between 1999 and 2014. The crossover. Thanks to the evolution of basketball, every single player in the NBA needs a consistent crossover to fall back on. But the best crossovers in NBA history belong to Allen Iverson and Tim Hardaway. AI's crossover claimed many victims, most memorably on Michael Jordan, while Tim Hardaway's killer crossover was lightning quick and deadly. A crossover is used to pass an opposing defender and get to the cup. While it's easier and more common to see a guard using the move, big men like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kevin Durant have begun to use the move, while virtually every guard in basketball has their own crossover too. The chase down block. Not all moves are used on offense, as the chase down block is just as spectacular as the rest. LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Kobe Bryant are the most iconic chase down blockers in NBA history, as LeBron's block to save the Cavaliers in 2016 in the NBA Finals is still one of the greatest plays in the history of the league, as the series-defining moment is still heavily talked about to this day, as Giannis and Kobe have some pretty insane moments of their own, as Giannis's block on DeAndre Ayton in the 2021 NBA Finals is right behind James as a top 3 defensive player of all time. The finger roll. The finger roll is one of the most pretty and elegant moves in the history of the game, as when we mention the move, move, it should be criminal not to mention George the Iceman Gervin from the San Antonio Spurs of the 1970s. Gervin was nicknamed the Iceman for his cool demeanor on the court and also apparently never sweating during games. The finger roll isn't an easy shot to master, but once it's mastered, it's very difficult to stop. The main purpose behind the finger roll is to flick the ball over an outstretched arm of the defender. While Gervin wasn't the one who pioneered the finger roll in the NBA, as it was Wilt Chamberlain who did so, Gervin used it far more often and on a consistent basis. He used the finger roll to a deadly effect, winning 4 scoring titles in 5 years. While many NBA players used the finger roll at the basket, Gervin used to pull it off as far away as the free throw line. What is the best signature move in NBA history? Let us know in the comments below.